Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums today with a slightly kind of different angle, number one. Number two, this is going to be a show me how you practice video on altar, practices and how to set up an altar. I'm showing you guys my Santa Muerte altar. And I know some people have a don't show people your altar sort of thing, but I'm just going to kind of show you what I have set up here. It's not doing so great. I have not had as much time to really focus on keeping this as active as I would like. So I wanted to kind of talk about some of the things that I've done over the years to set up this space. Now, granted, I work with Santa Muerte, and I've been a devotee for the last several years. It is a very significant and important relationship to me. I am very open about it because she is a big part of my home and my life. And so I try to be very proactive in spending time at this altar on a daily basis. I also have a smaller altar for Hecate, and I also do my little practices with her in the evenings. I have a small altar and dedication space for Aphrodite in my home, as we are all Venus ruled in my space. So it's just really nice to have a little bit of that connection for the home and our relationships and our connections. So I was going to kind of start cleaning up a little bit and kind of talking about how I went about starting an altar, because I think a lot of people think that it has to be a very big deal or a very large space or, a lot of commitment and things like that, especially for some of the more chthonic deities like Santa Muerte. So when I first started off, all I had was a picture of her, and I just was offered water. So always have fresh water, which I do need to change this out. So fresh water, fresh, clean water, make sure that there's nothing in it. I decided to get a glass that has a skull on it. I also added little things that I felt would be beneficial. So I added some coins, some money, things like that. So I have a little bag full of a bunch of different coins and change. I have dollar bills, things like that. And then I added flowers. I usually try to keep fresh flowers. I really just have not had the time to stop by a little flower shop or even just the grocery store, having time to actually go in and purchase flowers. So I do have fake flowers and things like that I still decorate with. I just kind of added different things that were sentimental to me. One of the things is she loves coffee, so I try to refill her glass every morning. And if I forget, I do it the next day, but I always do instant coffee with sugar in it, sometimes cinnamon, things like that. And just the intention of really treating her as a beloved member of my space. Another thing that you can add is candles. I did talk about in a previous video on candle magic and how to dress a candle and things like that. So sometimes I'll have it with the intention of just offering it to her. And just having it there for her to have some sort of light. So I have a little crystal lamp here, or not a crystal lamp, a salt lamp over here that I leave on. I eventually was able to purchase some different statues from different places. And then I just, dressed my statues with oils. So I have a Santa Muerte oil that I got from La Niña Bonita. On Instagram. She's amazing. I love this oil. It's a little dusty, but this is an amazing Santa Muerte oil. I also have Santa Muerte oil from the Death Witch, which I really love her oils as well, which I use those on my altar, on my flowers, especially with candles and when I'm dressing things like that. I have a Rose of Jericho here, which is for abundance. A lot of the things that I have here are meant to be offerings and to kind of call in Santa Muerte's energy into my home. So I have different card systems that I like to use with her. I have this little Santa Muerte deck that I purchased and I've talked about on here for altar work. And so I'll usually just pull a card for the day. So today I have, someone's paying attention to the efforts and good intentions of others, teamwork. So I like having a little bit of like a moment to kind of focus my energy on like, what does she want me to pay attention to? Because not all of the messages are always positive. Sometimes they are warnings that I don't always listen to because I'm stubborn. And so it's just really nice. And I also use the Santa Muerte Oracle to kind of pull cards with her as well. So one of the main things that was extremely important for me to set up whenever we first moved into this space was to give her, a dedicated space in my home that was close to where I do my work. And so while most practitioners will suggest that you have her somewhere where she can be hidden, somewhere where not just everybody can see her right out of like the front door, my space is right in the very first room when you come into our home. But then again, I'm very particular about who's welcome into our home. And there's a lot of stuff over here. So I don't think people notice it as much until I point it out. And then they're like, oh, and I've never had anyone say anything disparaging or anything like that to me, at least that I know of. So, and at the end of the day, I'm at the point now where I don't really care. This is my space. I have it decorated very witchy, I guess, very artistic. And again, like I said, I don't just like welcome just anyone into my space. I try to be very intentional about who is coming into our home and what's going on with that. So I cleanse the space. I like to use Florida water. My favorite is from Zenith Moon. She's a local practitioner and herbalist here in Colorado Springs, and she used to own a shop. She's amazing. But this smells so good, and it's so light, and it doesn't have that very pungent cologne smell to it. And all made with natural ingredients. So I highly recommend finding a Florida water that you like. It's just in my practice to do so. So I kind of like cleaned everything off, and then I spray a little bit of Florida water on that space. I found a nice little scarf that was colorful to put underneath everything, and then slowly just kind of went from there to kind of start adding everything that I wanted on here. So it's been a while. And I was thinking of maybe even like cleaning up the space. One of the things is that I do try to treat this like someone that I love in my home. So we usually have snacks and treats that I know she would love. She, as they say, has a sweet tooth. So I always have candy on hand, an apple or an orange. If I have any pastries, anything like that, I always cut off a piece and kind of put that there so that she also has that available to her. I've kept a lot of like little flowers and things like that just so that I have something on hand at all times, or I keep dried flowers that I have used on her altar before. She loves cannabis, so I have some here. There's also like oils that I've been making. So this is like a money oil that I put together. And so I have like the bottle there. She loves liquor, things like that. So I do have unopened bottles of liquor and stuff here on her altar for her. Just it's an offering, right? It's just me kind of placing those things there. So it's almost like saying like, hey, I value you. Let me bring you little gifts. Let me bring you things that I think you would want in your space. I also like to have candles. Sorry, my throat is just so itchy today. I also like to have candles that I can light, things of that nature, incense, whatever I can find. If there's ever something that kind of shows up on my path that I'm like, oh, maybe this is like something she would want on her altar. I kind of just see if it's something that works well there, and then I just try to add it into the space. I feel like a lot of practitioners feel like the altar has to be aesthetic, it has to be this. And if that is something that you value and you want, then do so. As you can see, mine looks kind of chaotic and crazy. I have different crystals that I feel are good. I have like this little like pig with my name on it that has like a penny from when I was born in there. So I have little things like this that to me, they're like little sentimental gifts. Maybe not the most expensive or crazy things to have here, but all the same, just like I found this rock and it kind of looks like a heart. Things like that where it just makes sense. I like to put pictures of her on here, have her statues. I try to take some time out to kind of dust off her statues, wipe them down, clean them up, and just kind of, if there's little pieces of jewelry or whatever, like she loves gold or whatever, this is the golden Santa Muerte. So it's like I have, I've draped her in some little pieces of jewelry or little things like that maybe don't have the most amount of value. Have some cash, on hand. Again, like I said, I have kept a lot of different feathers that I have found along the way, as well as like some more different forms of money and things like that in here. So I have like some money from Mexico, some money from Trinidad. I have other, forms of things like that to kind of offer here. I also have some graveyard dirt, which I think is nice to have, things like that. So whenever you do want to do some workings, since she is a death goddess, it is nice to have that available as well. So I'll probably speed up a portion of this and just kind of clean it up. So I would really, say that this is pretty done for me. I like to spend time at this altar in the mornings. Like I said, I usually drink my coffee. I reset her coffee. I pull some cards. I pray. I just talk to her like someone that I love. And I just try to spend that time just connecting to her energy, asking for her guidance, asking for her blessings. Being receptive and open to her guidance, to her magic, to her power. And then just really being grateful for her presence in my life, not just today, but every day. I feel like a lot of people think that it has to be a certain way. I know for me, like for sure, things that I like to add into any altar is some sort of offering. I always try to have some water on all of my altars, even for like ancestors or passed on loved ones. I always have a little bit of water. I like having a candle of some sort going or some sort of light. I also like to have maybe some things that they loved or some things that I know are connected to them. So for like my Hecate altar, I like to add garlic and dates. I like to add dried fruits, things like that, as well as like chocolate, as I know like that's another thing that is deeply associated with the dark goddesses. For like Aphrodite, same thing. I'll add like some chocolate or, some seashells or things like that, beautiful things, jewelry, flowers. I like to add in all of the elements. So we have fire, we have air with the incense, we have earth with the physical things, and then we also have water by having water. So definitely find a way to co-create your altars in a manner that feels comfortable for you. They don't have to be big, they don't have to be super elaborate. To me, this is the most elaborate one that I have. She has the largest space. I have more of her statues. I do more for her altar. This is also where I do a lot of like my other altar work. So I have like my money bowl here, which I've talked about how to create a money bowl. So I have like my money bowl going on this altar. I have like my money oil charging on this altar at this point in time. But when I first initially started doing the money oil and things like that, I had this money oil on its own abundance altar. And the thing with altars is that they don't have to be up year round. This is one that I do leave up because it is a permanent fixture in my home. Because to me, she also lives here in this space. For other ones, if I'm just doing like some deity work for just a season or something like that, then that's what I'll focus on. It's just like that, during that season, really taking care of it, making space for it, and things of that nature. So I don't really go too crazy with it. Like I said, the only thing that I feel like would be missing here out of everything that I have put back and cleaned off would be some fresh flowers, which it's currently a snowstorm outside still. So I will probably more than likely not be going out again today. But that is something that I would add in. I like to add in other things that I find that maybe are like, I feel a connection to for her. Just to kind of like change things around or, kind of make it feel a little bit more grounded for myself. So sometimes I add stuff, sometimes I take stuff away. I think it's really nice to, again, just kind of follow what feels natural for you, what feels organic. I hope that this kind of shows you how I hold my practice for my altars, and I really hope that you feel more confident and comfortable with your own altars. And again, they don't have to be something that is like Instagram ready or Pinterest ready or whatever. Sometimes, like life, they can look pretty messy. But again, I think it's very much more, the focus should be on intention, that connection, and just really adding it into your spiritual practice so that you feel more confident and comfortable working with those deities or those spirits or your ancestors or passed on loved ones. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if there is a deity that you like working with, or do you have altars for specific reasons? I would love to learn more about what everybody else is doing. So take it easy, make good choices, and just take care of take care of each other out there. That's what I meant to say. All right, bye.